this army here to send those things afar. So I mean, this is awesome. We can't wait to and excite the kids, you know, the young ones in this innovation and, you know, development design. I, I'd like to have Ian and Dr. Rick come in and speak to, like, that would be awesome for them to see something that they ride bikes every day and they never even thought about that concept of using it for that. Like that would just blow their minds.
Kameko, you know, we're also working on animal prosthetics.
I saw that.
And
I saw a little bit of that.
If you're interested, please join us, because we're finding that the animal prosthetics are a huge need out there. And we just finished one recently for a small dog. One of the things I didn't know was that if a dog injures or damages his paw, standard operating procedure is to remove the whole leg. And I understand it. I'm working with a surgeon here in St. Pete, and I understand it, but I don't like it. These animal prosthetics remove that all goes away. If you don't mind, I'm going to send you a link to my page that you can review with some of these. I mean, it's totally up to you, but we've had a lot of good luck with the animal prosthetics. But I'm in here. And a lot of, like with Ian's work, you know, we love what you're doing with the sockets, and we're doing it now. We have a homemade vacuum forming machine, and that's how we're doing our sockets now. It's nowhere near as cool as what you're doing.
No, so you take that vacuum form, and then you take the Alumilite 2-part, you know, Silplast putty, and you know, sure, it's a 20 shore silicone, but you know, I've had those pieces last 2, 3, 4 months on some buffer pieces, you know, because you're just using it to you know, take up a little extra space.
Right.
And I've had those last forever. And you know, the 2-part silicone putty, it's $30 for a pound. Well,
yeah,
you know, you can make a pound last forever. So
I have watched you make a few on your YouTube channel, and I have to say you've saved us a lot of time. You know, with errors we didn't have to repeat. So
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad somebody likes those videos, because they did.
I love your videos. I've watched. I think I've seen them all. If you slipped one by me, I'd be surprised. But I subscribe to you, and I love your stuff, because it's very. It's, you know, you make it easy to understand. You make it practical to comprehend how it works. I'm not even going to say I understand the hand you're wearing, because that one is amazing. How that is just incredible to me.
This one is super cool, you know, because it's a 4-bar link system, but where I have the dual driver points, you know, the problem with a linkage system is wherever the position of the proximal determines the position of the medial and distal. But on this one, where I'm also driving the positioning link of the medial, the proximal can be locked, and then you can still move the medial distal to complete a compliant grip. And you know, that was one of the compliance things that I loved with the draw through style of what you're doing with the look like 40 chain, maybe 520 chain on what you're using. I loved that compliance, although, you know, 3 springs along the back, you know, longevity wise, I didn't like how you hold your hand in it, you know, doing, you know, and, you know, they're kind of floppity. Whereas the linkage system, I mean, it's solid. That part I love about this hand. You know, right now I'm currently designing the grip pattern selector system and mechanism that I'm using or setting up for this. It uses what is it, a 6x10x12 clutch bearing, and then Sprague and Paul that through linkage opens and closes, and that's what locks the finger. So say you go, normal operation is open, close, then with the gear train, and then the fingers stay locked. So, I figured out my 6 grip patterns for this one, and we'll see how it goes. But it should be good, I hope. Otherwise, I'll make something else.
So, Ian, are you using mechanical power to actuate those fingers right now? Is
This is all mechanical. It's all adduction, adduction, and then the splay, which is something that my designs I found is really useful. Splay is by lateral motion of my hand. So, and then on this one, I haven't decided if I'm going to go with pronation, supination of the hand to select the grip patterns, or if I'm going to go with over travel in the negative plane laterally to change grip patterns off of this stop. So I'll do a ball detent and then a sliding rail, and that'll advance the gear wheel the 60 degrees to the next pattern, to the next pattern. What I'm doing for that is I make a gear out of 160 thousandths aluminum and then mill a cam follower pattern on one side and then the subsequent cam follower pattern on the other side. And I have a rocker arm with, a bearing, a brass bushing, whatever. And that just follows in that pattern. I think I have it in the living room. So as the wheel turns around, it forwards and backs the rocker arms, and that pulls and pushes, some micro cables. I think it's a 30 thousandths brass cable, usually used for control surfaces on model airplanes. It's the smallest one that you can get. It acts as a Bowden tube, but it's super tight. In like 3 loops in a 3-foot section, you'll get maybe 60 thousandths worth of backlash, within the 3 foot, which is awesome. So I'll be using that to go from here to this block, and that'll pull and push my 5 bell cranks and cam followers to that. So should be awesome.
Wow.
I love the how responsive
Oh
it
yeah,
is. I've been watching it for since as long as I can recall, and all of your designs were very responsive, very quick.
and that's what I love about it. It's as fluid as your natural hand. I mean, it's as
Yeah.
fast as your natural hand. And I don't know if you follow my TikTok, but I was getting a lot of how strong is it? How much can you pick up with it and all that? And with the hand previous to this, but roughly the same finger design, I was able to pick up 110 pounds, which in prosthetics, that's, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
working on that, it'll be great. Of course, as a side project, I'm just starting working on a hydraulic setup to where basically you'd wind up the hydraulics by forward backwards motion of your wrist, and that would pressurize the cylinder to a spring to valve assembly, and then you'd have just basically a miniature cylinder about 1/2 inch diameter, so that gives you 1/3 of a square inch. But at 150 pounds, that gives you like 40 pounds worth of actual holding force on the levers, which translated out ought to be able to hold up, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds at least. So, and should be pretty okay. And that's going to be using mountain bike hydraulic brake cable, because it's miniature banjo fittings, miniature everything, and that'll work with dot, or I was going to use 90 weight grease oil, so you have less of a propensity of it leaking, because I don't need super high flow rates. I just need it to stay put,
Right.
you know, so they're pretty cool.
Great.
What does that hand weigh?
As it sits right now, it's about a pound and a quarter.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Mhm.
No, this one I think it was under 2 pounds. I mean, it's under 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Actually, all of them are under 2 pounds. You know, and once you start wearing it, you really don't notice it being, you know, that heavy. You know, because it's something you wear every day. So,
Right.
you know, it just becomes part of your kit.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think unless there's something else anyone wants to add, since we don't have our speaker, but this is been a great session. I gave everyone a chance to talk about what they're doing. It's awesome. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Ian. Anyone else? Any other event? Anything else to share? If not, we can call it a day.
Well, we appreciate your invite.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks. All right. Thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
Thanks for hosting it.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks.
for recording. All right. Bye.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yep.